Yeah, just the one card. How's it going, guys? Today I'll be reviewing the newest mini-box, Fortress of Gears. This box contains a trap card that will be a potentially viable tech in multiple meta decks, as well as a 2-card engine that will be useful in many machine decks. It also contains significant support for 4 archetypes: Resonators, Aromages, Blackluster Soldier, and Heroes. In my opinion, the former two, Resonators and Aromages, are just decent, and they would need further support to be competitively viable. The latter two archetypes, BLS and Vision Heroes, have serious potential, especially Heroes, and I would not be surprised to see some of the cards from either archetype appearing in tournament-topping decks. Please note, this evaluation will be primarily focused on the competitive scene. If you're a casual player, or just a ladder player, then Aromages or Resonators could be just fine for your purposes. I also could be wrong in my first impressions about any of the cards in this box. Keep that in mind. Moving on to the individual cards. The first SR we have is Wall of Thorns. This card is a Mirror Force for plants. It's probably worth running in Aromages, has a really powerful effect, but its conditions are somewhat restrictive. Next up we have Humid Winds. This is a really good card for Aromages. It searches any of the in-archetype monsters as well as sets off the condition for their effects. If only this was a spell card, it would be so much better. Unfortunately, this card is indicative of the problems the archetype has as a whole. It's slow and vulnerable to disruption. Next we have the one Sky Striker card. Sky Striker Maneuver Jamming Waves. If you control no monsters, you can use this card as basically a worse Galaxy Cyclone. If you can fulfill the second condition, that being having 3 or more spells in your graveyard, you also get to destroy a monster on the field. So that's not bad. That's a +1 generic removal of 2 cards for just the one use. However, both of those conditions are pretty restrictive. If you can find a way to use this card, it has a pretty powerful effect though. Next we have Red Sprinter. It's a really good synchro enabler in the right deck, a deck with level 3 or lower Fiend type tuners. It's obviously meant to be used in Resonators, however, like I said, they seem kind of underwhelming at the moment. Something notable about it is it works off both Special Summon and Normal Summon, unlike something like Black Salvo where you'd need to Normal Summon it. However, the fact that you need to control no other monsters to use its effect is kind of restrictive. Next we have Envoy of Chaos, a Blackluster Soldier support card. This card is a battle phase hand trap that allows a Blackluster Soldier or Gaia the Fierce Knight monster to beat over any monster for one battle phase. Its second effect creates pluses, allows you to reuse the former hand trap boosting effect, and activates certain other monsters' effects, such as other monsters in this archetype. It's meant to be used with the rare cards that are in this box, Beginning Night and Evening Twilight Night. What these two do is Beginning Night, when it's banished, can search a ritual spell, and Evening Twilight Night can search a ritual monster. Use this effect to boost one of your Blackluster Soldier or Gaia the Fierce Knight monsters, allowing it to kill one of your opponent's monsters. Then, in the end phase, banish these two, adding this guy back to your hand to kill more monsters, and giving you a +2 off these guys, searching a ritual monster and a ritual spell. That's pretty powerful. It also may see use in Lightsworn or Chaos Dragons to banish Eclipse Wyvern, to search a level 7 or higher light or dark dragon type monster such as Judgment Dragon, or the new Chaos Dragon Legionnaire. Both those cards have very powerful effects. You could also search something like the Blue Eyes monsters if you really wanted to. This card is now probably the easiest way to banish Eclipse Wyvern and search Judgment Dragon, so it's a buff to Lightsworns. Next we have another Blackluster Soldier card, Super Soldier Soul. If you have a Blackluster Soldier monster in your hand, this guy is a normal summonable 3000 attack beater that benefits from the other Blackluster Soldier support, such as Envoy of Chaos. And if I'm understanding Envoy of Chaos correctly, that it reduces the opponent's monster's attack to the original attack of the Blackluster Soldier that it's boosting, it'll reduce the opponent's monster to 0 since the Super Soldier Soul has an original attack of 0. And since Envoy of Chaos also boosts Super Soldier Soul by 1500. That'll be 4500 over their attack position 0 attack monster. A 2-card OTK. In the grave, you can banish it to search one of the aforementioned rares, Beginning Night or Evening Twilight Night. This can set up Super Soldier Synthesis. That card requires you to send either a light or a dark monster from your hand and then the other from the deck. So you banish Super Soldier Soul to search one of these two, and then activate Super Soldier Synthesis to send the other from the deck to the grave. Then after that's done, you can use Envoy of Chaos effect to banish both and do it all over again next turn. Also, the fact that all 4 of these Blackluster Soldier support cards have effects that activate in the graveyard, or for these two, when they're banished from the graveyard, means that a BLS variant utilizing a Lightsworn engine could be viable. Vision Hero Increase is the first of the Vision Hero cards in this box that I believe to be a staple. It'll likely be a 2 or a 3 of in optimal hero builds going forward. It's part of a pretty good combo with Ferris that I'll demonstrate later. Ferris being the UR Vision Hero in this box. Machina Gearframe is a pretty good card. It's a +1 on summon, since he searches a Machina monster. Machina Fortress, who is, spoilers for later on in this video, a pretty good card. He has the added bonus of being able to equip himself to Fortress to give him even more protection. You could also, of course, use him for a Synchro Summon. Splendid Rose is a generic level 6 Synchro with pretty bad attack and defense, and an effect that's only useful in a plant deck. And even in those, I think its effect is only useful in very niche situations. Most of the time I'd rather just have Brionac. Not a great card. Next is Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Bane. This card is not great. It's a huge body but doesn't do too much else. 3500 attack and 3000 defense is pretty respectable, but this card has no protection. And there's a lot of disruption in this format, so all the effort that went into summoning this level 10 Synchro will often be for nothing, as he can fall victim to a Floodgate, Magician's Circle, Regeki Break, or any number of things. Moving on to the URs, we have Ballista Squad. This card's similar to Regeki Break, as it won't see play in every deck that wants to run traps, but can be pretty good in certain decks. In Shiranui or Thunder Dragons, it can remove monsters that were flipped down with Floodgate, for example, and unclog your field, or it can turn your excess field advantage into removal. Vision Hero Ferris is the card that I mentioned earlier that combos with Vision Hero Increase. This card is really good for heroes. It's the second searcher that the deck has, aside from Stratos, and it will be a definite 3 of. The optimal way to play heroes will have 3 of this and 3 of Stratos, as they are both key parts of the consistency. So if you don't have Stratos, I suggest buying the selection box that's currently available until April 5th. Of course, if you want to play heroes. You'll also probably want 1 Vision Hero Adoration, so keep that in mind when digging. Also keep in mind that the same day that this box released, Vision Hero Vion went back to 3, which just makes heroes even better. Like I said before, I won't be surprised if that deck ends up tiered, as I think it's very consistent and can OTK quite easily. Finally, we have the cover card of the box, Machina Fortress. This card's a level 7 machine with respectable stats and some good protection. It's important to note that you can discard himself and any other machine from your hand to fulfill the summoning requirements for him, and then later on you can bring him back from the grave. Although, from the grave it'll be much harder to special summon him, as he can't fulfill part of the level requirements. I can see this card being good in a variety of machine decks, as it's just a generally tough card to remove from the field, and can set up your graveyard for machine effects that activate there, such as Orchist or Crystron. I'll likely be dedicating an entire video to theory crafting decks that can use this card. Also, for the free-to-play players out there, in the right deck you won't need too many copies of this card, as he can bring himself back from the grave, and Machina Gearframe can search him. So 3 copies total of either of these cards could be enough. far as the rare and normal cards in this box goes, I already mentioned the Blackluster Soldier cards, which I believe to be some of the best rares in here. The Resonator cards are okay. The Resonator cards are quite good for the archetype, but I don't see that archetype being too viable, and it's pretty much the same thing for Aromage cards. Please let me know in the comments if you do wish to see those cards reviewed, and I can dedicate another video talking about those archetypes. The Vision Hero rare and normal cards I don't think are very good. Same thing with the Machina cards. That's all for today's review. Please leave a like if you learned anything or just enjoyed the video. Also, let me know in the comments if there's anything I missed, or if you disagree or agree with anything I've said here, or just in general to share your thoughts about the new cards. If you just think it's stupid that this box is called Fortress of Gears while having almost no machine support, you can let me know that too. I will be releasing new gameplay and discussion type content shortly with some of the other new cards that have been added to the game, so subscribe if you want to see that. Thanks.